All right. So when the decision first happened, no more 2-a-days came down from the Athletic Association. What was your initial reaction?
My initial reaction, I was very disappointed. I thought it was a very poor decision. 2-a-days in football are just something that go hand in hand here in the state of Iowa and across the United States, actually. And we talk about the issues of safety, and we were very fortunate. Here we are after it's what have taken place, and you look back, and we were very fortunate because of the weather. But if it's 95-degree day and you have to have a three-hour practice in the afternoon, which is what we have to do, I don't see how that increases the safety aspect for our kids to sit there. I think 3 hours is too long. You start to lose focus both mentally and physically. In the past, what we did was we'd have early morning practice and just really condition hard because that's when the temperatures are cooler, and then come back in the afternoon and have a lot more X's and O's mental type practice because you already had the conditioning part, and that always really worked well for us. And so to lose that, I felt I was very disappointed in it.
How about from the time, not that, obviously a lot of those things probably still, you still feel the same way, but from the point when it initially came down to now, have you seen a little bit more of where this Athletic Association was coming from with any of it, or do you completely feel the same way now that you've gotten a chance to try and live under these new guidelines?
No, my opinion hasn't changed at all. I still feel it was a very poor decision. I feel that it was not in the best interest of the kids, and I don't like it at all. I think it has set us back.
How about now how you've tried to handle that 3-hour day? You say it's more difficult because you have to work, take those 3 hours because that's all you got, and usually the only time frame that'll work is in the afternoon. It can be tougher do that because of the temperatures and those kind of things. So talk about how you've handled that along with just trying to balance all you usually accomplish within kind of 2 practices into that 3-hour time frame.
You just kind of adapt. You have to be a little bit more efficient. You don't get quite as many reps. And the fact that our first full day of hitting was only occurred on Saturday, and so now we're forced to go 6 days that week, where typically in the past, if we went 2 days all week, I'd give them that Friday afternoon, Saturday off. So now it'd be interesting tonight to see how they respond having only a 1 day break rather than a 2.5 day break type of deal. So you just continue to move forward. I don't feel we have as many reps in right now as we would have had at this point in time last year, and so therefore I think that's something we're just going to have to continue to work on to try to get caught up this week.
How about some of the younger kids, the younger players that, and as you kind of plan to get them reps usually to help enhance the program as a whole and look toward the future when these players their time will come. How does it feel now to know that some of those players, younger players that will be in the position to play for you in the future when you need them, won't be getting those extra reps now because you just don't have the time?
Well, I think what it has done is it's going to increase or encourage us to have more summer stuff too. And one of the things I try to do is give kids some time away. I think time off is important. And now to think that we're going to have to start practicing football in the summer during our no contact, or we can have contact, I don't know if that's a positive though either. So I think, but yet we have to get the reps in. In a Class 1A school, I don't know how everybody else does, but we're at 30 plus kids. Our fresh off kids are our second team. They're our scout team for varsity, and so next thing, now they're not getting the kind of Wilton reps that we want. And what we were going to do this year is have them practice a little bit after practice, but now you get into your 3-hour period, and when do they get the chance to actually get their own reps in? So I think it makes it difficult for all of us. But like I said, I really do believe that some of the coaches in the state of Iowa are some of the best coaches in the nation, and that we're all going to be able to adapt and adjust and make it happen. But I just don't think it was in the best decision for the game of football or our kids.
You talked about how 2-a-days and football go hand in hand. Feel that the tradition, history of this game in the state of Iowa, at least in a small way, has been tarnished because there's no more 2-a-days in the state anymore?
Yeah, without a doubt. No doubt about it. I sit there and on the Twitter pages, I sit there and I follow coaches all across the nation, and as they're saying, yep, we got our first session done, now break time before we get ready for our second session, and I'm sitting there thinking we don't have that opportunity, and our kids don't have that opportunity, and I think that hurts.
You talked about how now kids will have to take on even more in the summertime maybe to prepare for football, and many of them probably will want to, knowing that there is no 2 days. You know, the game of football has already kind of developed more and more to a year-round sport to those who are committed. So knowing that, and that it'll only increase more, how much more difficult is that for your athletes here at a small school where they're shared in almost every sport, a lot of them?
Well, and that's the thing I think some people may not realize is that I got 39 kids out for football this year. Of those 39, about 35 of them were out for baseball. This year our baseball, as every year, our baseball has great success. And so they're playing all the way to the end of July. And so now we have to mix and match, having football and baseball going on at the same time. Your basketball coach wants to have open gyms as well. And so now they're playing 3 different sports during the summer and not getting much of a break. And I think it's important for kids to have get those legs refreshed and re-energized and ready to go. And I think this doesn't help much.
Last thing I got is just the sense of accomplishment that players used to get from completing 2-a-days. I did it. I got through 2-a-days. Any ideas on how to kind of fulfill that desire for kids, without having 2-a-days, some way to kind of have that sense of accomplishment, especially at the start of the season for kids as they work?
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah, when you got done with 2-a-days, you just knew, okay, I got through the hardest part. From here on out, it gets easier. And it's almost like a badge of honor that you were able to do.
Right.
The guys before, you go back to the 20s when they first started, you hear these guys, these old timers talk about playing football and out in the cornfield, bean field, whatever else, and it's something that you talk about. You're with your buddies, you talk about the 2-a-day practice and how tough they were, and being able to say you got through it. And yeah, I don't know where that breaking point is now. How do you determine, okay, we just got through the hardest part? Because for the most part, with the lost hours that we lost, we're still going to have to practice our 3 hours this week and then even into game week to try to get caught up on the hours that we lost. And so I think it's I don't know how to answer that because I don't know where we're at, but it is a lost thing. Even still today, I talked to some of my former players 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago when I first started, and they talked about those 2-a-day practices, getting through them, and it's a point of conversation that we won't get to have with this new generation of kids.